Today on Straight Talk Africa, some call it the fourth estate, the press, the media. It is an essential and vital to a free and thriving democracy as the three branches of government, an independent judiciary, an independent legislature, and the executive. The role of each is to provide checks and balances for the business of governing a nation. Today, we'll discuss the threats to freedom of expression on the continent. Coming up next, right here on Straight Talk Africa. Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa. It's Wednesday, August 14th. I am Shaka Ssali.
And hello to you, Shaka, and hello to all our viewers and listeners on the African continent and elsewhere. I'm Mariama Diallo, your social media reporter.
Today, we'll discuss the challenges of press freedom in Africa.
And coming up later in our social media segment, you, our audience, have responded to our topic through your emails and Facebook comments. We'll reveal some of them ahead on Straight Talk Africa.
The Ugandan Public Order Management Bill was approved by Parliament, dominated by President Yoweri Museveni's National Resistance Movement. This, despite robust protests from opposition parties. Amnesty International says it's part of a pattern of repression against the political opposition and the press in Uganda. My colleague, Paul Sisco, has more.
President Museveni's supporters and the Ugandan police say the bill is a practical measure allowing regulation of protests, preventing them from turning violent and disrupting society. The bill gives authorities the power to veto gatherings of 3 or more people discussing political issues in a public place and break up similar meetings in one's own home. It also permits the use of firearms in self-defense against those resisting arrest. Critics say the bill is aimed at silencing dissent. Authorities say it was passed to protect the public's interests. Uganda is ranked 104th of 179 countries in the 2013 Reporters Without Borders Press Freedom Index. Freelance journalist American Taylor Krause was recently arrested, jailed, fined, and deported for filming police as they dispersed an opposition rally.
I'm the chief of the Horn of Africa service, which broadcasts to Ethiopia and Eritrea, 2 countries where press freedom is restricted, more or less severely. In Eritrea, all media is state media, and anyone who runs afoul of that, of the restrictions imposed by the state, even those who broadcast for state media, are liable to severe penalties.
Eritrea is the most restricted press freedom environment in the world, at 179th, last on the Press Freedom Index for the 6th year in a row. Somalia is ranked 175th of the 179 countries on the index.
It's not government policy in Somalia, but it's the law of the gun that rules there, so journalists live in fear. In Somalia, the government's policy toward journalists is one of rather enlightened policy. There is nominally a free press, but more Somali journalists have been killed in the past year and a half than in almost any other country, and I think in any other country in Africa. Because the Al-Shabaab militant, Islamist militant group will assassinate them. Anyone who broadcasts anti-Al-Shabaab material is a target.
Journalists in and around Nigeria face government restrictions and Boko Haram extremists.
So they go after journalists and kill them.
Leo Kean is with VOA'S Hausa service.
We have about 40 journalists, stringers, spread across Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Ghana. And all of them have received direct threats.
More than 30 journalists have been killed by extremists in Nigeria this year.
These people are speaking the same language that the vast majority of the people in the area also speak. Mm-hmm. You can't identify them because they don't have uniforms, You cannot, because they're embedded in the civil society, they're also covered by religion. You can't differentiate between an extremist and a regular Muslim because they worship in the same place. When they get out for operations to kill or to bomb, you do not know their intentions. So it makes journalism a bit difficult.
Freedom House, an independent watchdog organization dedicated to the expansion of freedom around the world, says globally there is an overall decline in media freedom. While the trend is positive in Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Malawi, Mauritania, Senegal, and even Zimbabwe, 14% of the world's population, less than 1 in 6, lives in countries where political coverage is robust. Government intrusion in media affairs is minimal, and the safety of journalists is guaranteed. Paul Sisco, VOA News.
Thanks, Paul, for that report.